Seniors, when your kids ignore you, don't beg, do this instead. Have you ever sat in your favorite chair, looked at the phone, and it just sat there too? Quiet, no calls, not even a text that says, "just thinking of you." It's almost like your own phone joined the witness protection program. Maybe it's been days, heck, maybe weeks, since you last heard from your kids. And when they do show up, it's all fast talk, busy schedules, and oops, gotta run. You try to share a story, and they cut you off with a, yeah, Mom, I've heard that one. And you sit there wondering, when did I become background noise in my own family? You gave these people everything. Diapers, homework help, late-night emergency room visits, casseroles, emotional support, and rides to practice before you'd had your coffee. You were the rock, the soft place, the safety net. And now it feels like you've been gently shuffled off stage. And here's the kicker, we blame ourselves. Maybe I was too strict. Maybe I wasn't strict enough. Did I spoil them, or was I too busy? We go through the greatest hits of parental guilt like it's a playlist on repeat. But let me say this, loud and clear, with all the love in the world, this is not your fault. It is not because you weren't enough. It's because they forgot, and you stopped reminding them. But here's the good news. This isn't the end of your story. In fact, it might just be the most powerful chapter yet. You've still got that fire, that wisdom, that laugh that makes people feel at home. And if they don't see it right now, that's okay. You do. So no, we're not going to sit here in silence and wait for someone else to remember we matter. We're going to remind ourselves first. Not with tears, not with anger, but with something better. Quiet strength, dignity, and maybe a little sass. Because this part of your life, this part's yours. You are not alone. This happens everywhere. You know what's funny? So many of us sit at home feeling like we're the only ones going through this. Like somehow we messed up. We failed. We did something to deserve being put on the back burner. But let me tell you a little secret that's not so secret anymore. You are not alone. This silent heartbreak, it's happening in homes all across America. From cozy apartments in New York City to sunny porches in Arizona. From quiet suburbs in Ohio to big cities in California. Same story, different zip code. We've talked to seniors, grandparents, single parents, even those who used to have very close bonds with their kids. And they all say the same thing. I don't know what happened. One day they just stopped showing up. And you know what? It's not because you weren't a good parent. It's not because you didn't love hard enough, work long enough, or sacrifice deeply enough. It's because life gets loud, and somehow the people who raise the volume get tuned out. Here's another truth. This isn't about you being broken. It's about a culture that rushes forward and forgets to look back. We raised a generation to be independent. And oh, they listened. So independent, in fact, that sometimes they forget the ones who taught them how to stand on their own 2 feet. But again, and I need you to hear this, you are not alone. Not in your hurt, not in your confusion, not in your quiet longing to matter again. There's nothing wrong with wanting a phone call. There's nothing weak about wishing someone would ask how you're doing for once. There's nothing silly about feeling invisible, because it happens more than we talk about. And talking about it, that's the first step to taking your power back. So, as you sit there listening, I want you to picture something. Thousands, maybe millions, of other people just like you. Smart, loving, strong parents who've spent a lifetime giving and are finally ready to receive. And guess what? We're not going to sit around and wait to be remembered. We're going to remember ourselves first. Because when you realize you're not alone, that ache in your chest starts to loosen. And in that space, something new can begin. Not pity, not resentment, but peace. And trust me, peace is contagious. Stop waiting, start living. Okay, now here comes the turning point. Because if you've made it this far, it means you've felt the sting. You've been there, standing by the window, waiting for the call. That never came. Maybe you've even cleaned the house just in case they dropped by. Spoiler alert, they didn't. And here's what I want you to hear now, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Stop waiting. Start living. I know, easier said than done. You spent decades putting everyone else first. You were the one who knew where everything was, who made the meals, who remembered birthdays, who held it all together like duct tape with a smile. But here's the thing. You're not just someone's parent. You're not just someone's emergency contact. You're a whole person. A person with dreams, opinions, passions, and, believe it or not, some of the best years still ahead. You don't need to wait for your kids to come around before you start living again. You don't need permission to enjoy your own company. You don't need approval to matter. You know what waiting does? It puts your happiness on layaway. And life, especially this part of life, wasn't meant to be lived on hold like a bad customer service call. So, start small. Take that art class you always said you'd try. Join the walking group at the park, not because you need the steps, but because you deserve the laughter. Try that ridiculous yoga class where everyone falls over and no one cares. Cook your favorite meal, just for you, and set the table like it's a 5-star restaurant, because you don't need an audience to live beautifully. The truth is, when you stop chasing after everyone else's time and attention, something magical happens. You get your own back. You stop wondering, why haven't they called? And you start thinking, what do I want to do today? That's freedom. That's joy. That's the kind of life your kids should admire. Not a life of quiet waiting, but of bold living. And here's something funny. When you stop waiting by the phone, that's usually when it rings. Not because you begged for it, but because they feel the shift. They sense that mom, or dad, has a spark again. But even if they don't, even if they never notice, you'll still be okay. More than okay. Because you'll know you didn't waste your life sitting in someone else's shadow. You chose to shine. The power of boundaries, calm, clear, and guilt-free. Let's talk about something that most of us were never really taught growing up. Boundaries. Now, don't let that word scare you. Boundaries aren't about building walls or cutting people off. They're about putting up signs. Clear, kind signs that say, this is okay, that is not. I'll help you, but I won't hurt myself in the process. Most of us, especially parents, were raised to believe that love means saying yes. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'm available. Yes, I'll drop everything because you need me. Even when your back hurts, even when you're exhausted, even when it's not really love anymore, it's just habit. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes when your heart wants to say no, you're not being kind. You're being unfair to yourself. Let me give you a small example. Your son calls, again, to ask for help moving a couch. No, hi, how are you? No, how's your week been? Just straight to the favor. You look at your calendar. It's empty. You could go. But you're tired, and you were planning to just enjoy a slow day. Now here comes the choice. Do you say yes because you can, or do you say no because you should? And here's the magic trick. You don't need an excuse. You don't need to fake a doctor's appointment or invent a headache. You can simply say calmly, "I'm not available today." That's it. No drama, no guilt, just clarity and peace. You're not punishing them, you're protecting yourself. And you know what happens over time? They learn. They start to realize, hey, maybe I should call just to check in, not just when I need something. They may not say it out loud, but your boundary plants a seed of respect. Now here's where it gets even better. The more you practice boundaries, the lighter you'll feel. Like you've been carrying a heavy coat you didn't know you were wearing, and suddenly, you take it off. And no, you're not being selfish. You're being honest. You're saying, my time matters too. You're saying, I have a life. You're saying, I love you, but I also love me. And if someone in your life can't respect that, that's not your failure. That's their lesson to learn. Let me put it this way. Boundaries don't push love away. They shape it. They give it a healthy container to grow in. Without them, love becomes obligation, and obligation is the quickest way to resentment. You've spent years being available to everyone else. Isn't it time to be available to yourself? So from this day forward, I want you to remember this phrase. I don't owe anyone access to my time just because they expect it. Your love is a gift, not a guarantee. And your presence should be appreciated, not assumed. Boundaries don't make you mean. They make you wise. And when you hold them with calm confidence, you become something rare. A parent who leads not with guilt or fear, but with quiet strength, letting go of the need to be needed. You're still whole. Let me ask you something tender. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not because someone needed it, not because it was expected, but because it made you smile. If you had to pause, you're not alone. For decades, your life was centered around being needed. You were the fixer, the giver, the one who knew where the birth certificates were, who made the meals, signed the permission slips, held the family together during storms, literal and emotional. You became the glue, and somewhere along the way, maybe you forgot you were also the art. Now the house is quieter, the requests have slowed down, and a little voice inside whispers, if they don't need me, who am I? That question is heavy, but it's also a doorway. Because here's the truth. You were never just valuable because you were useful. You were and are valuable because you exist, because you are wise, because you have stories, humor, tenderness, fire, and soul. Letting go of the need to be needed doesn't mean you stop loving. It just means you start loving yourself too. And I get it. It's not easy. Your whole identity may have been built on showing up for others. You were the dependable one, the yes machine. You knew how to fix everyone else's problems, except your own loneliness. But here's the beautiful part. Now, you get to choose. You get to pour all that same care, all that energy, into the person who's been waiting patiently in the background, you. So go ahead, take yourself on a date, put flowers on your own table, buy the fancy lotion, read a book without guilt, wake up and ask, what do I want to feel today? You're not selfish, you're sovereign. Letting go of being needed doesn't mean letting go of connection. It means releasing the pressure to earn your worth. And yes, at first it might feel strange. You might feel restless, like something's missing. But give it time. Eventually, something shifts. You start to hear your own thoughts again. You rediscover little joys, a favorite song, the way sunlight hits your coffee cup in the morning, the laughter of a neighbor walking by. And guess what? you realize you're still whole, not because someone needs you, but because you finally need you. So if no one says it today, let me say it clearly. You don't have to be everything for everyone anymore. You don't have to carry everyone's world on your shoulders. You've already done more than enough. This chapter, this one's for you. Not the caretaker, not the planner, not the mom or dad hat. Just you, soft, strong, and finally free. Your peace is yours, living from your center. Let's be honest. There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from lifting heavy things. It comes from feeling unseen, from constantly wondering if you still matter, from giving your love, your time, your attention, and getting silence in return. But today, I want you to hear something different, something that might just change the way you walk through the world. You don't have to earn peace. You already have the right to it. You don't need anyone's permission to feel calm, centered, and whole. The truth is, and it might sting a little, as long as your peace depends on someone else's behavior, you're handing them the remote control to your happiness. And guess what? Some people don't even know they're holding it, and others aren't careful with it at all. So here's what I want for you. Take it back. Not with noise, not with drama, but with quiet confidence. You take it back when you stop waiting for the phone to ring. You take it back when you stop checking who liked the photo or replied to the message. You take it back when you say, even if no one else shows up for me today, I'm still showing up for myself. That's not giving up. That's waking up. It's stepping out of the cycle where every missed call ruins your mood, where every canceled plan feels like rejection. It's learning how to sit with your own soul and realizing it's actually pretty good company. Because here's the wild truth. Once you stop chasing peace from the outside, you start radiating it from the inside, and people feel it. Your children may notice. Your friends might say, "You seem different, lighter, happier." But that's just a bonus, because the real reward is what happens inside you. That steady rhythm, that deep breath in the morning, that quiet knowing, I'm okay, I've got me. No one can take that from you. So let the world spin. Let the texts go unanswered. Let the doorbell stay quiet for a while. Because you, beautiful, wise, resilient you, have found your center. And from that place, you no longer need attention to feel worthy. You no longer chase respect. You embody it. You've lived enough years to know that life is too short to spend it waiting in emotional traffic. Your soul deserves green lights. So go ahead, make yourself a cup of tea. Turn on your favorite music. Watch the sky change colors at sunset. And let this be enough. Not because you gave, not because you fixed, not because you were needed, but simply because you're here. And that is more than enough. Final message. Your golden years are yours. If no one else has said it to you lately, let me be the one. You've earned your peace. You've earned your joy. You've earned the right to live these years on your terms. Not as someone's afterthought. Not as the emergency contact who only gets called when something breaks. But as the main character in your own beautiful unfolding story. This chapter, your golden years, isn't about waiting at the window. It's about walking through the door. It's not about hoping they remember to call. It's about remembering yourself. Because life isn't over, not by a long shot. In fact, some of the best sunsets come after the longest days. So laugh a little louder. Say no when you want to. Say yes to things that light you up. Take that art class. Learn the dance. Plant the flowers. Eat dessert first. Because you're not here to fade. You're here to shine. Not for them, not for approval, but for you. And maybe one day, your children will look at you, strong, calm, whole, and say, "Wow, look at mom, look at dad. They're really living." But whether they notice or not, you'll know, because you've stopped waiting. You've started living. And your golden years? They're finally beautifully yours.